Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
I can't even fit my mouth around that piece.
It's hard to swallow.
I'll be choking on it for a minute trying to swallow that piece of humble pie.
You can take care of your whole household by taking care of mom. This is my draft year, 2012. And I'm projected to go 5th, 6th round in the draft, in the NFL draft.
You better, arrogance has no place.
Not in my presence, that's for sure.
Better have some humility ability. That was a rhyme, that was also a bar. The teacher isn't always teaching, but the child is always learning.
All the time. After, cooling down, I went to my wife in front of them, apologized to her, gave her a hug, and kiss. She's like, it's totally fine. It's not fine. I should never do that.
It's Free Lunch Season 3 with a special thanks to our sponsors, Bullseye-LLC.com, Ready, Aim, Bullseye, where safety is our ammo, Gen1LLC.info, Generation 1 Logistics, taking pride in putting our carriers first and helping owner-operators get premium loads, stay organized, and increase profit, and ScarletOakCandleCo.com, the self-care experts.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free, with another episode of Free Lunch. And I got Chuck Hatchett. Give it up for him, y'all. I'm going to give him the full clap. I had threatened him earlier. That I wasn't going to give him the full clap. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro?
I am doing good. I'm good. I gave him the bland intro too, just like the Chuck Hatchet, because he's like so many other things. I didn't even want to box him in and pick one for him to present himself to y'all. So, I'll give you Chuck Hatchet, and then I'm gonna leave it up to my man Chuck to give you any of the other dope stuff he wants you guys to know. Who is Chuck?
It's a good question. That's a very good.
You're like the fourth person to tell. That's a good question.
Very good question.
That's why podcasters ask the question.
Well, Chuck Hatchett is a sinner, say by grace.
First, number one. That's fire. I have not heard that. That's what he was trying to do, y'all. This whole time he was going, let me come up with something no one said before.
Exactly.
Look at this dude.
But thanks for having me, first and foremost, bro. You are an inspiration. You my boy. We go way back.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be in your amazing studio. But, me, who am I? I am a Christian first. I love Jesus with all my heart.
Sinner saved by grace.
That's right. I'm a husband, second. I'm a father, third. And I'm an entrepreneur, fourthly. And I'm an athlete afterwards.
Fire.
Yeah, and and all the other things in between. My friend.
He's swallowing the whole back of this chair right now. You know he an athlete. Boy got lats. He need 2 of these chairs. I only got one. I got the slim people's chair, man. When I'm shopping for chairs at the studio, I'm shopping for me. Okay?
The chair got bigger next time I come back.
The chair got to fit me.
It's not comfortable right now, but it's going to do right now.
That's why athletes is going to be required to bring their own seating. You know how it's BYOB is going to be like BYOC. Bring your own chair.
That's it.
Okay. Out of all of those things that you mentioned, which one of those would you say you spend the most time doing, acting? So aside from your faith thing. The other titles of because that's obviously that doesn't change anywhere you go.
I go a little bit.
But how much of that out of all those would you say in a day on average? Would you say you spend most of your time in a day being a dad, spend most time in your day being active, husband, doing husband stuff, or being an entrepreneur, or would you say it's kind of an even spread throughout, your day? What do you say where you put the most of your active time in?
Well, it's good that you put the faith thing aside, because that's
that's all.
I do that a lot more, but I say the most of my time it goes towards being a husband, and then being a dad second, and so being a husband. I clean for my wife, and she can attest to that.
No cap. He said, I'm not capping.
Not cap.
Ask my wife.
Ask her. You could go
when
ahead.
You see me in service.
You see me on the streets anywhere, ask her. She'll tell you straight up. Right. It just spending time with her. I call her often.
Yeah.
You know.
Sidebar: his wife also acts as like his unofficial official manager.
Yeah.
She's like the door person. Like, you know, when you try to come in the club and you got the bouncers right there, like checking people. Like, hold on, wait, let me see some identification. What we trying to see? Hey, now I'm trying to come check on me. Nah, hold on.
That's her though.
I know.
No, that's
which is why I
her.
said it.
Listen, and that's
He thought I was playing. No, I know it.
a lot of my time when I spend a lot of time with her because a lot of it is us, hanging out, but a big chunk of it is her organizing my life,
filtering folk,
filtering people, telling me that I can't go to this meeting because I try to overbook myself. And,
exactly.
I haven't.
That's why when you're not answering my messages, I just message your wife.
That's smart.
I go to the management.
That is very smart.
Tell Chuck, pick up his phone.
Exactly.
Stop playing with me. I know he see my text.
And once he tells me, I'm like, you my boy. I'm like, oh, Chris was calling me? I'm like, let me pick up the phone real quick.
Look, don't try to act surprised, but I saw you saw my text. I got your wife to get in your behind now.
Exactly.
Facts.
But I spend more time with her, and I believe with me doing that, it has helped everything else just be gradual. Like my time with my kids, sometimes I spend a little too much with them after spending time with my wife. And, this most interesting thing, my oldest daughter who's 7, I take her to tennis class. She's part of this tennis club, and she looked at me one day and said, Dad, why you don't give mommy a chance to take me to practice? I'm looking at her like, excuse me? Give her a chance. I'm your father.
Said, why?
But it was a good thing. I'm like, okay, so I sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not spending enough time, but I'm overdoing it.
You overtime.
Exactly.
She like, back up off me, bro. You on my neck. Bro.
Exactly.
It's hot.
Exactly.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think it's dope about the fact that you have that particular order of time. Is because, at least this is my opinion, right? I'm so comfortable at this point in my life, man, pushing 40 with people not agreeing with me. I'm like, that mess roll off my shoulder at this point. But because I know I have some ideas that are unpopular. But what I like about it, and your reason for it could be different. What I like about it is that my opinion is I don't think dads really have much. Not to say the little they have is to be taken for granted, but I don't think they have much in the way of showing, particularly daughters, female children we have, how to, one, be women. And two, mainly how to be women, right? So to that end, right, when I'm thinking even in my own home, I would say it's the same way you have it arranged, right? I think when I'm showing my daughters how I'm interacting with wife, with mom, and mom's interaction even reciprocal towards me, that's one, it's doing two things. It's showing them how to be a lady, how to be that woman as they watch mom and I interact. And then I'm also showing them how they should look for their husband to treat them.
Exactly.
Because you see how I honor mommy.
Exactly.
You see that. So that's very where somebody else might hear you just say that and be like, oh, it should be 50-50. Like, he should be spending time with it should be the kids, this month, and the same time with the children, and not seeing this kind of, ladder of things of how it all is fruitful for the kid. Like, he's just like, y'all heard I had the gender reveal recently, congrats to the wife and I. We found out we having another daughter, right?
Amazing.
So now I'm going to have 4 girls. Yeah. So I'm a girl dad, Chuck's a girl dad.
Big time.
Right? That's super, super important for those girls to see what is this man in my future life, how should they be treating me? How should it? And that's what I want. When my daughters grow up and get married, I want them to have a husband that is putting them at the first point, of the home. Obviously keeping God first. But having that relationship so that they can continue to mirror that.
Let me so you're 100% right, and I agree. So there's an old saying that said, "Take care of mom, and the whole house will be well taken care of." And it's the truth, right? You can take care of your whole household by taking care of mom.
That's fire.
You can show your children, and your kids can't say nothing about you because they see that you took care of mom.
Yeah,
and guess
yeah.
what mom's doing? Mom's taking care of everybody else.
It's their nurturer.
Exactly.
So you're taking care of
their
our nurturer.
Precisely right. And
we trying to be on the nipple of the cow, but we glad that you taking care of the cow. Like
precisely right. And so I'm like,
if no one took care of the cow with the nipple,
I'm going to take care of her first.
That sounds crazy, man.
And so the beautiful part is too, like I tell my wife, and that's why I spend a lot of time with her. I always remind her, and she's like, you know what, you're right. And she sees the role that she has. I'm like, look, I can teach my kids how to be smart, biblical truths and biblical principles, but I can't teach them how to be a woman. And so I'm like, look, always be conscious. One, how you respond back to me sometimes, because I'm not going to be always on.
Exactly.
I'm going to be off.
Exactly.
And we cover each other, and they'll get a chance to see, how you respond back to a male, which will help them respond back to their father and other men. So it's a beautiful dynamic.
They're watching. I always say when I working in the school for the time that I was in the school system at the charter school. I always said when it came to like the students in class, like the teacher is not always teaching, because we had like times where like we're at the whiteboard and we're not. Sometimes we're just sitting at the teacher's desk, right? The teacher isn't always teaching, but the child is always learning.
All the time.
So what that meant was I would tell the other teachers that because they would think, or they would be surprised by, things that the kids picked up in the classroom when they were just sitting at the desk. And I said, because the kids are observant. They're watching everything. You're teaching, even though you're not teaching social skills, let's say, as a teacher. You're a math teacher. So when you think, when you get away from the math board, all the learning is being done because you finished at the whiteboard.
Exactly.
But no, now the children might not be learning math anymore because you stopped, but guess what they're learning now? As you're interacting with that student, whether you're the teacher snapping at them, yelling, helping them, they're learning social things now. They're learning relationship things now.
Big time.
So as parents, it's the same idea. Always. You might not be always actively teaching your child something, but they are always learning.
All the time.
They're watching us like a hawk. Absolutely.
It's a cool thing. My two oldest, so Charlotte, she's 7, and Violet is 4, and Evangeline is only 2, and so she's still figuring things out. She's like, we gotta keep teaching. Like, look, in this house, this is what we do. They've been here a little bit longer.
Get on board, all right.
Get on board. So my oldest, she would go to her sisters and be like, so when they get in trouble with mom, and I'm not home, not the oldest. No, oldest normally gets in trouble, but the two youngest, and my wife will ask, "Why did you do that?" And then one of them will say, "I don't know." And then Charlotte will come out of nowhere, puts her hands on her hips, and she's like, "What did Daddy say?" I don't know is not a good answer.
I don't know.
It's like,
check it out.
So my wife started laughing. So they pick up. They always learning.
Absolutely.
They always are learning.
Always.
They don't have to remember what you said. They just remember what you do.
Yeah.
And I teach them that. There's a reason for just about everything. And so, especially all your actions. There's always a reason for your actions. A lot of people try to pull that stuff where it's like, I don't know why I did that.
Know.
You do know why you did that. We're going to figure that out.
Zay be trying to pull that on me at home, man. My son, he's good for... I don't know. Say I don't know again.
Yeah, we got to figure it out because I want to help you.
I ain't gonna know why I came upside your head just now. Say I don't know one more time. But I think for what I've tried to do as like a dad is in those times because, and I've been able to have the privilege over my oldest is 18 and then now my youngest is 11. So I got a pretty good spread over the 18 years of being a dad, a parent. I've had the privilege of working either vocationally in certain jobs or in my actual, scholarly education, working in the fields of child development, human service, behavioral health, the school system, have my degree in child development. Like, so I've been able to educate myself a lot in parenting. And one thing that I found to typically be the reason many a times we'll get like an I don't know answer from one of our children is this fear factor.
Exactly.
Right? And so at least with my son, because I when I think with my girls, I don't really have this response from my girls. But my son, I think it's I'm still working with him. Like I came into his life when he was like 4. And anybody who's working child development or educating themselves, those first 4 years are extremely critical.
Big time.
When it comes to like shaping how that child's mind views the outside world. And so, I can't help that I wasn't there in that critical point. So from about 4 or 5 to now 11, I could still see the overtime or wealth of work I'm doing in removing that fear of just like being honest with me, being open, because the only thing with dad to fear is the lie. Like don't be dishonest, because now I can't help you. I can't empathize with you. I can't say, but with the truth, it could be the reason or whatever. It could be something that I don't like.
Exactly.
But I'm able to articulate that to you. We dialogue, we talk about it. But if all you have to offer me is I don't know, but you know
something.
Now, but it's kind of things. But again, it's like kind of these principles that I even draw from, vicariously through like relationship with God. Is like, God is even like, and if God is this way as a parent, I'm thinking like, shoot, who am I to be higher than God? God is even saying, look, be hot or cold. Like,
you know what you want.
Either way, I'm not gonna be bugging out. But you try to do that middle thing, that lukewarm thing. Nah, we can't. So I'm trying to echo the same thing to these children. It's like, look, be afraid, if anything, of being lukewarm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just with me, but like, again, on a deeper spiritual level, beyond me, when you grow up, be afraid of being in that middle space. That like, what's your truth, what it is or whatever. And so either you're going to be like, bold, with being hot or bold being cold. Like you're gonna you're gonna be whichever one. So and I think I'm actually surprised. I guess maybe a little not, because with my girls I've been in all their lives from jump. So, but the girls, they won't hit me with the I don't know. Their issue is they'll hit me straight out with the lie out the gate. That's their issue. So sometimes when I reflect, sometimes I might almost prefer to I don't know. Like this, maybe give me some.
They start lying off rip.
Off rip. That'll be their issue, man. I'm just like, really? Like how many times? Now I gotta come over your dome with the consequence. You might only got a little, slap on the wrist. Now I'm trying to dig in my bag. I'm trying to dig in the bottom of the Barney bag to come out with the consequence, because you lie. Like, come on, man.
You can't lie.
You're not lying, man. Only thing I can't stand.
No, it's a beautiful thing to demonstrate, what responsibility looks like. Because sometimes we talk about responsibility, and I know from the generations before us, they'll do a lot of do as I say and not as I do. I remember watching folk.
I had a nickel for every time I heard
drinking around me, smoking around me, making crack around me.
Don't let me catch you doing it, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they selling drugs right in front of me, bagging it,
drinking it. Don't let me get.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. I thank God that I didn't do any of those things, but it's like that was a do as I say, not as I do, and I was like, I will never be like that. I'm a man of my word, and I am who I am, and that's how I have to be.
Or like even, you know what I mean? Because I like tread lightly even on the things that I say like I would never do, right?
Yeah.
So like even when it comes to like my kids or any relationship really, adults, friends, whatever, I really try to put myself in a space of transparency and honesty. Like if I ever was to stumble in anything though, like right, if I'm gonna take on this like idea that hey, never say never, right? Like in my conscious mind right now, I don't think I ever, but let's just say all the stars aligned, perfect. The devil got all the perfect things in place to trap me up. I want to at least be able to, in the worst of predicaments I could find myself in, I want to at least be able to hold on to transparency and authenticity. Like if I'm caught out crazy, so if let's say I was a dad that, I just was smoking cigarettes. Like I couldn't let it go. That habit, I just couldn't, whatever. I'm addicted to cigarettes, smoke, whatever. And I have my child who's seeing me smoking. Like don't let them just see me like gloating or like the seemingly like cool look of it. Like, no, I would give them the brutal, honest truth and reality of what I'm doing. Like this thing that you see me doing, it is slowly killing me inside. And it just, I can't get myself to do what I need to do to go get help. I can't do, I'm not just, being a man or being mature about because I know this isn't healthy. Like, give that child and those people watching you the raw reality of it.
Yeah.
If in fact you find yourself in that stumble place. But obviously the ideal place is for you to not to find that, and then you to be able to just be the example and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, but that also goes with that's a great way, but also that can become dangerous in the sense where it can let a kid realize that it's okay to find yourself at the bottom and stay there. And then, where people don't want to necessarily be, quote unquote, winky finger, too good. We have a responsibility to be as upstanding of a citizen or as upstanding of a person in front of our children and anyone that's going to look. But for the sake of transparency, you got to be willing to share. So, like, case in point, I raised my voice in the house. My wife and I got into a heat argument in front of the kids, which never really happens, and so you always try to wait for the kids to like, get out of here. I'm talking to your mother. Bedtime. But they saw that, and I made sure after cooling down, I went to my wife in front of them, apologized to her, gave her a hug, and kiss. She's like, "It's totally fine. It's not fine. I should never do that." Yeah, and I showed her that, and then I sat them down. I said, that was wrong, right? Yeah. Oh, okay, Daddy.
That's
like
fire.
Don't accept that, and don't say it's okay. You receive their apology.
Yeah.
And then you move forward, but don't just say that this thing is okay.
Yeah.
And so I let them understand that.
That's good stuff.
Or with them getting in trouble, and sometimes we can get in the angry.
How's their reaction to you when you say, like, are they young enough or are they old enough? I'm sorry, where it looks like on their face when, like, you're looking at their facial expressions, does it look like they get what you're trying to relay in there, or just?
Yeah, I think my two oldest, they definitely do.
Yeah.
Where they're just, they kind of, they when I first did it, which we all.
It's like odd to them, like, are they like?
It was odd. It was like,
"Hi, Daddy, are you like looking at you weird?" Like, okay, all right.
Yeah, but after a while, they're like, "Oh wow!" And I let them know, like, "Look, Dad's gonna be off, but I'm not gonna be off that much," because we make it a point to make sure we do our absolute best every single time. So I know. And everyone should know, if they give their absolute all, they give it 100%, there's going to be very minimal room for failure. And it's not because, I'll never fail. No, because you are giving your absolute best. And usually what happens when failure comes is when you get a little lazy in the first place. You don't necessarily lose for the sake of losing. You just get a little lazy. And so that's where I'm like, I'm going to do it as upbeat, as strong as I possibly can. So that way, when my kids get older, I'm just gonna be chilling, sipping on coladas with my wife, watching them do their thing. Like, we did it.
Yeah. I love it, man. So what would you say is, you said that it doesn't happen because people just being lazy.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the driving force of it happening? What's keeping you doing the best in that particular space? Like, when it's the remaining. What I think really that is you're doing is being humble in front of not just to your wife, because you could have easily just had that in secret with just your wife. What's the driving force for you to take that from privacy, just giving your wife that apology and saying, I'm motivated to bring this in front of the kids, even if it means I have to look embarrassed or, I got to apologize. And now my kids have to see, Big Daddy boss even lower himself to apologize, like being the head of the house. I'm not so big and mighty that I can't apologize. Like, what's the driving force for that for you?
So what helped me was when I started learning about the nature of Christ. And so big strong people are only big and strong when they have the ability to be humiliated. And so I'm okay with being humiliated because I'm.
You gotta say that again. That's a bar. Bro.
Big and strong people are only big and strong when they have the ability to be humiliated. And so, I'm grateful that God has shown me how to be strong. I didn't get this on my own, right? There was the nature of Christ, and Jesus was so big and strong. And we're not here talking about the Christianity, but that's just who I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he is so big and strong that he had the ability to be humiliated. He was stripped of his clothes, of his skin. He hung on a rugged cross. He didn't even have to. He actually could have came down.
I don't know if I could be that big, man.
I wouldn't have been that big.
I'd be like, hey, take this cup because I'm running.
Listen,
I'm about to leave.
Exactly. It was tough enough for me to just swallow my stuff and say, hey, babe, I'm sorry for what I just said. Like, and go to my kids like,
hey, Peter, sneak me out the back, man.
You feel me?
Yeah,
but that's how you be big and strong, is just knowing that I'm okay with being humiliated, because that still takes nothing from me, because what you just showed your kids that you hold all the power.
Wow, man.
You know what I'm saying? And when you hold all the power, that means you have the ability to lay your life down and to lift it back up. Not like Jesus did, because Jesus is he's the only resurrected one, and he's the first resurrected one.
Crazy, bro.
For us, we can lay our lives down for one another, right? He's like, look, I'm going to show my kids this is what humility looks like. Not because dad's humble, but because the nature of Christ is on the inside of me.
You're going to have me bugging over that bar all day, bro.
Bro, listen.
That's fire, bro.
Yo, I'm grateful that, like, God taught me this stuff.
That's fire. But that's what I've said a lot of times, man. You know, growing up, you know, in some ways a lot similar, like with you, growing up inner city kid, you know, fairly poor, you know, home, man. Shoot, man, we were standing.
We got a lot of stories.
We were standing in line, man, in the summertime at the school to get the free school lunch in the summer.
Remember the fire trucks used to come out with the presents for Christmas? We didn't even go buy them.
Yo, really, really, man, you know, poor. But I right? So like those early developmental years of me growing up, you know, a lot of my saving grace was having, you know, a great grandma, like old souls raising me, bringing me to church 3-4 times a week. So when it comes a lot of ways to, you know, not every ways, you know, I have super, I, you know, tell people, you know, dope mom and dad, now who've, you know, instilled some amazing things in me. But what I always say is all a wealth, probably the majority of what I've learned in the way of being a good husband and being a good dad wasn't necessarily at the hand of me seeing that.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
It was all from God. Like God's impartation through what I'm, you know, studying in the Word, what's being constantly fed to me.
Yeah.
In that infancy, you know, like I said, constantly going with grandma, constantly going hearing grandma in the prayer room.
Yeah.
Before War Room, the movie came out and prayer closets was famous.
We've been seeing that a long time ago.
Grandma was doing that.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
They should have been had a movie like.
You know what I mean? Like, and so that's the environment I grew up hearing. What I was hearing was this woman bellowing, screaming her lungs out, calling out people's names, out to God, praying constantly, waking us up in the morning with holy oil, taking me to church, you know, and hearing the word of God, which is why it's like I owe everything to that. Exactly. And that's not like and I always, you know, put that you know, sidebar there so people know this is not a slight at my teenage parents. At all.
No, they did their thing.
My parents did their thing. They are extremely dope, loving, supportive, you know, parents that I have but let's face it, they was 15. Like
they were young.
You're ill-equipped. Like it's, you know what I mean? So for anybody out there who's like listening, this is not, I can't boast in what people see from a distance is my approach with my wife or my family.
Precisely right.
Chuck, he can't sit here and boast, oh, look at me, I'm the dope dad, husband. He owes all of what he's saying and sharing to you to God, to that relationship, that submission to that relationship.
Yeah.
And that bar was fire, bro. I've never heard that like that. Like, listen, man. You learn to be big and strong from the one who was the biggest and strongest of all of us on this earth. Like if you following the notion,
you all set. The earth is his footstool.
You like, all set.
His foot can sit on top of the earth. Like,
where can I boast that? Like where can I?
You can't. Like I'm the dad. Listen to me. Like, no,
absolutely, man.
We don't walk around with no puffed chest. Like,
that who wishes to become the greatest? You
got to become the least.
The least, man. That's what we've been talking about that at church.
We just talked about that.
That's the other. I didn't tell y'all, but I know Chuck from church, right?
Long time ago
at the service.
At the service,
you know, we just saw at the service. But yeah, man, I appreciate you know, men that are able to to humble themselves like that, because I think we need more of it.
Yeah.
I think those of us that get hung up on being able to do it is, because of ego things, because of our false ideas that society teaches. One
Precisely right.
is manly, or
Oh my gosh.
what's even like the ideas of like when it's not even when the apology isn't geared to even your wife. But how about when you got to apologize to your child?
Exactly.
Not because of something you did with your wife, but when it's actually them. Like I've had to humble myself with Zay because I thought, he got in trouble, or I put him on punishment for something that I thought he did. And I was like, no, you lying about that. And then later found out, oh snap, no, he was actually telling the truth. Humble soup time.
That's it.
That's a big, thick piece of humble soup, bro. You know how big that is?
And it's chunky.
I can't even fit my mouth around that piece.
It's hard to swallow.
I'll be choking on it for a minute, trying to swallow that piece of humble pie.
Listen.
But you have to, it doesn't matter that they're little people and you the big grown. You have to humble yourself even to that child. And because you have to show them you're never above apologizing, being humble yourself. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Exactly. And sometimes dad is the one that was wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. I share that with them all the time. That's when one of them got in trouble, and they were rightfully in trouble. I yelled at them out of anger, and I realized that I'm like, I can't believe I did that. So I come back downstairs from my office, and I was like, it was actually Charlotte. I said, Charlotte, come here. She was scared. Like, yes, Dad. I'm like, I shouldn't have did that. Did what? I was like, I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. Well, I got in trouble, so I was like, that's not okay. I was not in a good place in my mind, and I shouldn't have yelled at you. You are a great kid. Don't do that again. I apologize for yelling at you, because I should not have yelled at you like that. All right,
Wow, that's fire, man. I think I think it's the best thing. It's gonna teach, as our kids grow up, it's gonna teach them that much better how to navigate the relationships they come into in life. Not just intimate relationships, whether it's their husband or whatever spouse, but even their friendships. Like, nobody wants a arrogant friend who don't know how to say sorry.
Like, I counsel a lot of people in these days.
Chuck just be finding any reason to cancel you. Nah, but Chuck will look at me, people. Look at my eye. Chuck will cancel your eye, and if you cutting up, you better act right. You better. Okay. Arrogance has no place.
Not in my presence. That's for sure.
Better have some humility ability. That was a rhyme. In case you, that was also a bar.
That's a bar.
Humility ability. Don't be surprised y'all hear that in my next track.
I'm not messing with you. Humility ability.
That's gonna be the hook.
You put it on a shirt.
Ability.
Put it on a shirt. Exactly.
Oh, that's
don't even do that.
I'm stealing it now. Stealing it. That's a hashtag. Hashtag hoodies. Humility ability. And I'm gonna say I thought of it first.
Exactly. I'm gonna go back and listen to the podcast. I'm gonna put it out.
Yo, love it, man. But in the way of talking, as discussing kids, or just like even the idea of parenting, what lately has been on my mind is like, we have this very, very widely known story in the Bible, like Abraham and Isaac, right? And Abraham is mighty man of God. He's challenged with his son Isaac, to sacrifice his son. And so, not to make a long story short, and to drive my point, sooner. For those of you who are not familiar with the story of Abraham and Isaac, flag, reason for you to go crack open your Bible. But the story, is really about Abraham. He's challenged with, sacrificing his son Isaac, to God, and ultimately, God sees, the heart that Abraham has, for God. He sees Abraham's obedience, and ultimately he blesses him by sparing his son, and get into a place where ultimately he didn't need to actually give up or sacrifice this thing that was very dear to him, close to his heart, like his son. He did not put this thing above God. And so, God has been showing me how sometimes we could have a potential quote unquote Isaac in our lives. And by that, I mean where it's a thing that's really, really passionate, close to our heart, dear to us. maybe it's something that you feel as a person is an actual person, in your life. Like it could be a relationship, an intimate relationship. Maybe God is calling you to like kill or sacrifice for God's sake that relationship because it's not, he sees it's not either healthy for you, or maybe he just wants you to have a heart for him right now in your singleness or whatever it is. Another thing we've been talking about in church, right? Or it could be something that's not a person at all. Sometimes I think for other people, the Isaac in quotes thing in their life could be a job. It could be a career, work they're doing. Everything you've been maybe asking God for secretly in your prayer room or alone time, God is saying, look, I actually have for you, but it's not over there where you are right now. And so it's this really, really dear thing to you, though. You love your job, or you love this guy or this girl you're with or whatever you're dating. And it's like, how much do we trust God with our lives present and with the better part of our lives to even come? Like how much we trust God with that to where anything he asks us to give up, we're willing to. So, I'm going to point it to, to Chuck to ask him about that. But for me, I'll go first. For me, in recent times, it's been an actual like persons, like plural. And it's been, for me, my children. Because, me having 2 teenagers, shoot, I'm going to have 3 teenagers.
In a minute.
At the end of this year.
Yeah.
The older they get, and, because they have, some of them are, away from me, they, are in Florida. I have been challenged in my worrying every day, being stressed, to off the air I share with, Chuck, having like, physical, impacts to my body with worrying about them, heart pains in my chest and worry. And God had to show me that you really don't trust me with your children. And because they are away from me and I don't have like the ability to like reach out and like directly be there with them, it's this huge vulnerability for me as this man, this like head of home leader that God has, called me to be, and that, I'm used to being in the home with, all my kids. And I've had to now navigate this new space where they're not here in my home. They're not under my roof being reared by me. They had, kind of my upbringing when they were younger, but now, they're living with their mom way, thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
And it's like this deeper place I have to trust God, and God's showing it to me. And I'm grateful for that because it's a space where I can see now I can actually take to God in prayer to help me with, right? Like I can be, not hoodwinked or fooled to think I'm like killing it, trusting God. I got all covered. Like, of course I trust the Lord.
Yeah.
And not know the whole time, actually, no, you have this blind spot right here. And so I was grateful to God when even though it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was like, wow, like, dang, I never would have thought I would have struggled in my faith like that. I was glad it was revealed to me, because now that I've been able to take that thing to prayer regularly, keeping on top of it when I'm like, I feel those nerves coming back up or that anxiety or that worry, I'm able to just give it to God, man, in prayer, constantly interceding for my teenage girls as they're navigating, stumbling through life and dealing with their own things. And it's brought in so much more peace.
Yeah.
And ultimately, God already knew that was going to be the outcome, is you was going to have more peace.
Exactly.
But as long as you was going to hold on to it and not own that and be honest with yourself to accept that, no, I am struggling with that, Lord. Help me with that.
Yeah.
What historically for you have you experienced or even present has been the quote unquote Isaac for you? Like the thing you've had to trust God to take hold of and still bless you on the outside?
I would say it was back when I was getting ready to graduate college, and the number 1 linebacker in the country after, being transferred to 3 different colleges.
This is all facts, by the way. You can Google it. You can Google it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And this is my draft year, 2012. And I'm projected to go 5th, 6th round in the draft, in the NFL draft. And
so this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 10
Time
years ago.
fly.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. So we get ready for the NFL draft. I didn't get invited to Radio City, which I was like, all right, I'd rather be home with my family anyway. So I'm watching the draft. I wanted to watch it alone because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so my wife, who was my fiance at the time, she was like, "What are you doing right now?" I'm in the dorm by myself. I'm nervous. I'll call you later. So, and my agent, he's calling me and he's talking to this team and that team. Then ultimately on that night, I didn't get a phone call at all. I was hurt. It felt like a dagger went through my heart. And then on Sunday, the draft's over, but they have these Sunday phone calls. Sunday I get a phone call, and it's one of the Jets scouts, and they invite me to come to Forum Park where the practice facility is at, and I go there and do a tryout, workout, and do very well. And then I go back again for another one, and didn't work out. Then the Falcons called me, and they do a workout with them. And then I did a workout in front of the 49ers and the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers and the San Diego Chargers at the same time.
Wow.
And it didn't work out. So I'm like going to all these training camps, these tryouts and stuff like that. And they're calling me. They're calling my agent. And I'm like, and I'm literally in my athleticism a great fit. But
so in your head, you're like bugging because you're like, you guys are the ones calling me.
Precisely right.
And I know I'm killing it. I know
makes no sense.
Why is this not time after phone call?
And for the hearers and your viewers, this is my combine stats. I had the highest, and I still do. I don't think there's been a linebacker to bench as much 225 as I have at any NFL combine. I did 225 40 times, 40 reps on the bench.
Wow.
I ran a 4.48 in the 40 at 270 pounds.
Crazy.
Which is what tailbacks and wide receivers run. Not even tailbacks. Wide receivers usually run those. I had a 3.7 shuttle, which is the 5.10.5, and I had a 40-inch vertical at 270 pounds. And so
crazy.
The stats are all there.
Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding from what I All-American for 3 years in a row. And so then I go to church. My wife and I, we come to Cornerstone. And we started getting rooted in Cornerstone after doing all these tryouts and stuff like that. And I'm getting jerked around from this team and that team. And so I go to Cornerstone, and I'm upset with God. I'm praying at the same time. I'm like, God, why is this happening? The plan was not. This is not the plan. I am that great of a player. What's going on with this?
Yeah.
And I found myself at the altar one day, and I released. Literally, I said, I don't. And this is verbatim. What came out of my mouth. I said, God, I don't want my hands to be in the lives of these GMs anymore. I don't want my life to be in the hands of these GMs anymore, but I want my life to be in your hands. I'm done with this.
Wow.
Whatever you want to do. If you don't want me to be a pro football player, I'm okay with it. The song was over. Pastor Watts gets up there, our senior pastor. He closes out worship, tells us to go back to our seats. I sit down. I get a phone call.
When you sat down?
When I sat down.
Okay.
I was going to ignore the phone call. My wife is like, pick it up. I'm like, Virginia, we're in church. Run to the bathroom. I run to the bathroom. It is the head coach from the BC Lions, which is the CFL, which is another really big league everybody knows about. Yeah. And they even play their games in our country. The Canadian Football League. Dude calls me, yo, we saw your film. We like what you did at the combine. You're not gonna be playing in the NFL, but you can come over here. We pay a lot of money too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious right now? He said, I'm dead serious. And he said, if you're willing to accept, we'll send you the contract tonight. Send me a big contract, a lot of money. Sign that joint immediately. We sat around, my family and my step-pops, who's not here with us anymore, and he just couldn't believe it. And we're signing it together, and then they gave me like a month. And then before you know it, I leave and go play professional football over there. And the cool part was, just like Abraham and Isaac, Abraham always wanted a son. I've always wanted to play professional football, right? And God finally gets me to a place where I actually have the ability and opportunity to do so. He came to the place where he actually has a son. I came to a place where I was actually the best player in the country. So now I actually can go play professional football. But now I'm holding so tightly to this thing. Not like Abraham, which he's the best, because he didn't hold so tightly to Isaac. He actually gave it away. I was holding so tightly to this dream of mine
Yeah.
And then God's like, if you give it to me, you'll be okay.
I got you.
And that's not going to be everybody's case, but I gave it to him, and he gave it back to me in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Not like down the line. No, like I said, I'm done. Now, it was a genuine outcry on the inside. I was actually okay with being, not being that. I was okay with being something else.
And I think you saying what you just said is very important, is that that's not going to be everybody's case. Yeah. Because I've heard it's, one of the criticisms of many preachers that people hear from telling stories in the Bible is that, we have this habit as like believers to always insert ourselves into every
Never
story,
do that.
right?
Never
but
do
what
that.
I think we can all say will be us in our various quote unquote Isaac moments is that for every situation and every person, there is always peace on the other side.
Precisely right.
So through doing it God's way and giving whatever that thing is up, there's peace on the other side.
Yo, and I had the craziest peace, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I gave it up. I'm crying at this point, right? Big old dude at the front. Everybody like, if I fell out, they're gonna have to take like a few ushers to come pick me up, right? And I go back to my chair, and I'm okay. Fire. And then I get a phone call. I wasn't even gonna pick it up. I was like, I am not interested.
Exactly.
I'm not interested. And my wife's like, you better bring your butt back there.
That's crazy, man. Right as you sit down.
And that's crazy. And I leave. Sign a contract, and
that's fire, man.
That's
fire.
It was amazing. And then after I got cut from there, I was okay. I was like, well,
yeah. And
then I got offered another contract from another team.
Okay.
And my agent was like, look, the Jets, they want to pick you up in another year because another dude is gonna lose his contract. So you go over here and play in CFL. And then after that, I gave it up completely. I was like, I actually quit.
What made you do that?
Ministry.
Okay.
Ministry and my firstborn child. So I had my firstborn child, Charlotte, and I didn't want to be that I didn't have a dad growing up. And then when my biological father did come around, it was a really bad situation. I don't want to necessarily talk about, but it was rough growing up without a father. And so I know that if I was to play professional football in that early stage of her life, would I be away? Absolutely, because when you go to camp, you're in camp for like 2.5 months without no family around. You're around a whole bunch of dudes working like 16, 18-hour shifts. People don't realize, they see the glitter and the glam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I want to be like, Chuck, I want to be a professional football player. You don't realize you got to wake up at 6 o'clock and you're going to bed at 11.
That's crazy.
And guess what? You're not with no family.
Away from your family.
Away from your family. You can't be around no girls.
This ain't like the military. You could fly them out and come live with you.
None of that stuff.
They're not at the camp.
You lifting weights with the team. You eating with the team. You got to go get massage with the team. You got to watch film with the team. You got to practice 3 times a day. It's crazy. It's a full-time job.
That's crazy.
It's a job.
You gotta earn that contract. All that money they're giving you, we paying for you.
When I was a rookie, one of the veterans like, Chuck, you're gonna hate football after week 5. I'm like, come on, bro. This is the dream. We here. He's like, you're gonna hate football. But listen, when we got into the regular season, by week 2, I was like, I want to quit. I called my wife. I said, yo, I'm done. She said, are you crazy?
It's not what I thought it was.
She had to talk me back to my senses.
Wow.
So are you crazy? Because I was upset too that I was a starter until the veterans started coming, because you have to do like a rookie camp first. And I was killing it. And then the veterans came, and then they put me back down to like 12th string or something like that. And I said, this is crazy. So she was like, well, when do you get a chance? Like, if I get a chance, then they started giving me a little bit of chances. Then I became 2nd string.
Yeah.
And the speed light.
So if you could do it all again, would you, knowing what became of the phone call when you sat down, if you could do it all again, would you have still answered the phone call? If you already knew what was going to happen, the future on the other side of that call, would you go back, sit down in your seat again, and still pick up the phone?
Yeah, I think I would, because I did develop a genuine passion for being a ball player.
So you valued that term experience? Absolutely,
because God got that itch out of me.
Okay.
And that itch needed to go, because that itch was going to be there until I knew that I was actually that good of a player to be there.
Yeah.
And
I can understand.
He allowed me to realize, like, Chuck, you actually are that good, but I don't want this for you.
Yeah.
And I remember, being here, the lifestyle was crazy, bro. Like, I remember the first time that the coach like, look, all right, y'all can go out tonight. Y'all can do your thing. And I'm like, I'm going back to my room. I'm going to watch cartoons and eat grapes.
Gonna watch cartoons?
So that's why all the fans, they like me because I resonated with kids. I was like, look, I'm going to watch cartoons. I'm going to eat some grapes. And the veterans come to my room. They say, yo, Hatch, we going out. All the rookies got to come out. I said, I'm not coming with none of y'all.
All the rookies I ain't got to do a goddamn thing.
And listen, and they knew they couldn't mess with me because I was a very strong rookie. Like,
I ain't got to do nothing but stay black and die.
I said, I not wish any of y'all to force me. They're like, no, nobody gonna force you. You just gotta come. And so I called my wife just to say what up, and she's like, "What you about to do?" I'm like, "Nothing. The veterans want me to go." So
she's about to watch these cartoons. Is what I'm about to do.
She eggs me on to go with them. So I go with them, and I'm upset. They go to the club, which has not been my scene for a couple of years from that point, right? Yeah. I stopped doing all that stuff because I realized that it was slowing me down when I was in California.
Yeah.
And I go to the club with them, and I'm being asked left and right, which I always do after practice. Can I get your autograph? Can I get your autograph?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not a good idea. We're actually I'm a low key celebrity, and these dudes are big celebrities because they're veterans.
Yeah. And
I'm like, why am I out here assigned? Like, this is crazy. And mind you, I'm already sore. My body hurts. And then they're trying to get me to drink alcohol, which I don't drink alcohol, which I never did. And so I'm like, this is a terrible night. And then they almost left me at the club. I'm like, yo, I'm not even in a place where I know I'm at.
Bugging.
And they about to leave me here, and I had to get a ride. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. That lifestyle is different, and I'm grateful
for
that.
But I think it's really, really, I think it's awesome that you had one opportunity to like have that experience.
Yeah.
And even like knowing how it would, ultimately turn out or end, that you still said, I'd pick up the phone. Yeah. I thought, just a small part of me at least thought you would have said like, no, I wouldn't have, but I think in your case, like you said, your passion like was so strong for it. It was almost like, well, not almost, I think it was literally like God, like, tipping his hat to you, like to that passion, like, hey, I'm not your enemy of this like thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I want you to, I'm not trying to hold any good thing from you, right? Like I want you to experience that. But what I was waiting for was for you to give it to me. Up. Give it to me.
Exactly.
Because the thing you're going after, I got it.
Exactly.
I got it over here.
And he was so gracious enough to let me see.
Exactly.
And let me play.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to play.
Fire.
Like,
that's fire.
He didn't have to do that.
He didn't.
And there's a difference now. If I wasn't like that good, right? A lot of people, they have those dreams. Yeah. And nothing against them.
Nothing against you.
But like, God gave me an ability to like be really, really good.
Nothing against y'all, but you still need practice. Right?
Like,
you're not coming for y'all.
You're not coming for.
But you know who you is out there.
You know
right?
who you are.
You think you sitting there thinking you deserve something, you don't. Right?
And, yeah, it's the truth though.
Are you working out 3 times a day? You and that.
I lived in the gym. Like I didn't hang out with people on purpose.
Exactly.
And
a lot of people aren't willing to give up that.
They're not willing to give it
up. The partying, the hanging out,
all that stuff.
It's really those. I think that's why they say it's that 1% of talented high school kids. The coach will tell you 1% of y'all are gonna ever make it to the NFL. Like it's extremely like that because so many people are not willing to do
the hard things.
It really they think what they practice in high school that's as tough as
that's
gonna
hard.
Get.
Yeah.
No. For you to go from that level to this level, you may be willing to practice 4 times that.
Listen, when I was in the pros, dumb dudes, like, and the cool part was I was actually even higher level than some of those dudes I was playing against. But it was literally an all-star game at practice.
Yeah, that's
people don't get
crazy.
That. People like because some people be watching these pros play and they be like, that dude's trash. Like, ho, before you say that dude trash, understand that man was the town hero from where he's from.
Wherever he's from.
I don't want to hear that.
Make it on the field.
Exactly.
He's on the field.
So don't talk junk about him. Yeah, he might not be your favorite player on your team.
Exactly.
But my man's is a monster.
He had to get here.
He had to get here. So don't trip on him. Like, and so
that's crazy.
When we had practice, bro, it was an all-star game. Think about it. You got me and my boy, he was from Oregon. You got another dude One of my boys, Tavares Jeffries, he was from Oklahoma. He was one of the starting tackles from the University of Oklahoma. Got my man from Alabama.
crazy.
I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, this is practice?
People you like watch on TV.
This
like,
is practice.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not even a game. I'm like, oh,
that's crazy, man.
You know,
but they have all those people at those practices because they're constantly being watched for their, various abilities or whatever.
Yeah, they
on the field.
All the professional game is a bunch of all-stars coming together on a team. That's pretty much what it is. Like in college, people don't realize too. In college, many of those dudes are gonna be sitting behind a desk. So some people be talking junk about some of these college teams. Yeah, because not every college team has NFL caliber players. Most of those kids are gonna go get a job. Like don't be thinking like, oh, if I'm going to Alabama, I'm definitely gonna go to the NFL. No, because only 2 players from Alabama go to the NFL out of 70 players each year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like you can't, and that's the best school in the country.
That's crazy.
Only just about, on average, 2 of them go to the league out of 75 players.
Wow.
So you do the math. Now where the rest of those players going? Getting a job. You see what I'm saying? J-O-B.
J-O-B.
They behind the desk, bro. Like
your daddy said you could come down to the dealership and work for me.
That's what I'm saying.
Come learn the family business.
So, I'm grateful to God that he was just like, you're right, he tipped his hat like, if he has a hat, right? He's like, Chuck, I know you like a little baby.
Oh, I'm dying.
He knows his children.
He said the rest of y'all going to get a job. The rest of you will be serving at the altar ministry, yo. We need new ushers.
Yo,
come volunteer down at the church.
Listen, and the beautiful part was God let me get that, and it became a platform, a low-key platform. Yeah. And then,
definitely,
I started speaking at all these colleges and schools, which I still do today.
Yeah.
And it's been incredible. So, some kids, they be like, you play, I'm like, just, you can Google my name and they look it up like, oh my goodness, this dude is like for real.
Yo, he's the man, yo. It's got to be amazing to just be like, look at somebody and be like, hey man, Google me, man. Hold on though. You know what? No, all just side story. My daughter down in Florida, she I forgot what she needed for it. Maybe for like a project for school, right?
Yeah.
And she texts me. She goes, Dad, I need a picture of you. Hold on. And to this day, I feel so much like a jerk. But so I text her back. I'm like, Google me, okay? So there's a bunch of pictures of me. Hold on. I feel like such a jerk after she's like, Dad, but those are all like professional pictures. I just want like a regular picture. And I was like, okay, all right. Let me look at my phone and find some regular selfie pictures of me. But yo, man, I was totally.
All you take is professional photos anyway. So like, you ain't got no regular pictures.
I'm like, Google me.
She could have asked me for a regular picture. That's all I got is regular pictures.
I said, man, you interrupted my work day, man. With this, you could have Googled the picture. Man.
That is too funny. Yo.
But yo, that is like such a. It's really dope to be able to have like not only for God to trust you with those experiences, but trust you on the other side of them, to where they don't make you this like untouchable person.
Exactly.
Because that's for me, that's disgusting.
It is.
Like those are the amongst like, my utmost top worst kind of people are people who lie. But the next is got to be like arrogance. Like people that like can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody stand beside you. You're just every room you walk into, you're it. You're the ish. Like how people say like you just that guy. Can't nobody hold a candlestick to you.
Yeah.
And to be able to, here you're able to just inside your house, like forget the other rooms you go to or speak in, just at home to be able to remain a humble character, individual, face, leader.
Think about this. This is gonna mess up everybody that's gonna be listening. My daughter's just learned. My oldest, none of the other 2 don't even know. My oldest just found out that I played football this year.
Wow.
She's 7.
That's crazy.
I don't never talk. There's not a trophy. Mind you, I got a lot of accolades, right?
Yeah.
I've been All-American for 4 years in a row. All these different things, right? I almost got the #1 tackler in the country. All these trophies, all this stuff. I hide them all in the basement. I keep them in boxes. And so she just learned because somebody came over the house. It's like, we were watching a game on TV. And my daughter's a big fan of Alabama. We like watching Alabama football. And it was like, your daddy used to play on TV. She's like, my daddy's a daddy. He never
My
played.
daddy's a daddy.
That's his job. I was like, that's right, Charlotte. You tell him. It's like, no, your daddy used to play Chuck.
Oh,
Tell her.
man.
Tell her. And I was like, yeah, you did. And then my wife come on over. Your daddy was really good. And all this other stuff.
Wow.
And she just learned that this year.
My daddy was. You know what that reminds me of is it's like this ongoing joke on The Rock on his Instagram. His daughter, they always are watching like Mona, the like cartoon movie, and his daughter doesn't believe that he's
the guy.
That he's the guy. Like, she's like, nah, your daddy. Like, it's the same thing. Like, to them, like, nah, you're just daddy.
And that's what I want to be.
All these people like know you in all these other spaces and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, that's dope. For me, I think it's been cool to have like my kids. I've always like before any person's other household or stage or platform knew who I was or heard my name. They've always like I've been a celebrity to them.
Yeah.
Like they've supported me that much. Like when I was just doing things locally and just confined to the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
You know, they see me on stage, and because there's lights and a microphone, to them it was like, wow, like daddy, like they would always have this like periodic question. They would like come to me after another show and be like, so daddy, are we rich now? I'd be like, nah, I'm sorry. Nah, that's just a little local, another show. But to them, man, I like just always been like their like superhero, awesome dad. Like, while still struggling through getting the closed doors, hearing people tell me no.
Yeah.
And while still very much so on many levels in the infancy of like, my journey as a creative, as an artist. Where there are millions, billions even of people who don't even know my name. To them, I'm that dude.
That's big.
Anywhere they go, they take my name and precede me. Like they take my name ahead of me. So I get to a space where they've been, and then it's like everybody in that space know who I am and what is I do. Oh, your daughter Ray's constantly telling us about you and showing us your videos. And I'm like, wow, I'm so like
that's incredible.
Touched by that, man.
That's
like
incredible.
They think I'm amazing. And for me, that's what's been able to carry me this far is like my family at home,
that's
inside my house.
Those are your fans.
Those are the people where it counts. Right. No offense to you guys. I love the fans. I appreciate those that are out there that support me. But before you guys even knew who the heck I was, ever knew my name, it was my wife at home. It was my children there cheering me on when it was just the audience, a crowd of just 5 people. And 3 of them was my family. Like I've been in rooms that humble, that small, and, larger. Like those, remember your people back at home. You know what I mean? In your house, because we can, as creatives, as an entrepreneur, I don't care if you're, running a storefront business, you're an artist, poet, whatever it is you do, we could sometimes get disenchanted by not getting all this like accolade or reaching these big platforms or stages we're trying to get to, and kind of like let it sap that, that motivation or, trust that, God put this in me, I have this gift, and keep going with it, because everything we envision hasn't manifested in front of us.
Exactly.
And by doing that and having your attention be focused there, you miss what God has blessed you with, is this undying support and group of cheerleaders. This man got a wife and 3 girls that you can't tell them nothing about the man in their house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so for him to have his eyes set on somebody else to be able to give him a thumb up or say, hey, Chuck, come to my platform, and now I'm, disappointed now. Or, Chuck is like a serial entrepreneur. He's got, he's navigating several different businesses in different areas and spaces of people where he has to hear people tell him no occasionally. It's not always yes. Like some opportunities I don't get, or some things are delayed or whatever. But I go home every day and I got people right there that they're right there.
You can always go home to that.
Daddy got this. We believe what Daddy pushing. Like he the rest of y'all will be able to catch up later and realize what we saw all along.
Exactly.
Get reintroduced to husband, daddy, we don't know all along that our daddy was awesome.
That's
that
right.
that hubby was awesome.
That's fact.
You guys gonna find out later.
Yeah,
and get it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that, man. Another thing, God has, helped me see, hearing the no's, getting the closed doors along the journey of ways, showing having that gratitude of what God has blessed you with already.
Yo.
Are you missing that?
That's the best.
Like, what has God crazy, undeservingly in many cases, where God has blessed you that you ain't even deserved the blessing in that space?
For those who may not know this verse, know the Bible, the verse in the Bible, it says, contentment with godliness is great gain. You gotta be content.
It sounds like another T-shirt. I'm stealing all these, bro. You should have kept your mouth shut. I'm snatching all these.
Yo, it's great game.
Yo,
man.
it's great game.
It's great game.
But we have to catch that revelation. Hopefully, God is able to catch each of us, because you guys heard in the last episode I mentioned he's trying to, whether you think so or not, or you feel like you hear him or not, he's trying to forever, every day, communicate and talk to all of you, reach all of you. So whether you've gotten to that point where you've heard it, you've caught that revelation of the abundance of which you have to be even grateful for in your now, even though you're looking forward to more, you're striving for more, whatever, but look at now. Right now, you are experiencing blessing and gain in areas where another scripture in the Bible where it says where places you haven't even sown.
Exactly.
You're reaping breath of life and like blessing upon blessing in spaces that you haven't worked hard for. No. Yeah, you've worked hard for some things that you're still waiting to manifest, and you've been busting your behind, and that that entrepreneur thing you're doing or whatever. But then there's other things where you ain't deserve a look at that.
Exactly.
You ain't deserve that shot, that chance, that phone call, that meeting. The grace of God, by the grace of God. So, hey, before we wrap up, man, this is free lunch. We say free food for the soul. Because every episode we like to end it with something that's like lunch, edifies the body, could be edifying for the soul, for those who are out there listening. So considering everything that we discussed, or something that may have occurred to you last minute that maybe we didn't discuss, what is something edifying for the people, Chuck, that you want them to take away from today? And take your time. Take your time. We're in no rush.
We're in
Take
no
your
rush.
Time.
So I was sharing about the scripture last week in Romans 12, and it was talking about serving others. And a lot of individuals, they fail to do anything for other people because we have been duped to thinking that we have to put us first. And a lot of times we get told this from either our peers or those who are older than us or those who we idolize. Somebody always says, put you first and everybody else should be all good. No, you can put others first. Jesus came here, he never put himself first. He came here to serve and not to be served. And he was a king, and he never was treated like a king, and he never treated himself like a king. Instead, he treated everyone else the better than himself. And of course, he still was killed for it. And so if everyone recognizes that, if you don't believe if there's a creator or not, there is one. I can already tell you that, because we didn't come from nothing, and we didn't come from no monkeys. That's for sure. There was not one, because there's explosions happening right now.
Stuff's still exploding right now.
And nothing being created, right? But God, he will take care of every need of every human being. So with that being said, I think everyone should be grateful that there is a creator. If you don't know who he is, and to those who do know who he is, there is a Father God that will supply every need that you have. So if that is the case, you can take some of your energy and put it towards serving someone else, whoever that may be. Whether service. You gotta serve
that's
others.
The word.
That's the word. Serve
service.
Others. Service, bro. That's what
service.
And that's why God has blessed me, in my businesses, with me speaking all over the place, because I just serve people. I want to serve you. People come over my house. We did a Sunday brunch at the crib, and you came to that 1 week. 20-something young adults in the house, and we're feeding them. I'm serving them. Like, you didn't like what I just made? Would you want me to make you a protein shake? Would you mind? Absolutely, I don't mind. I'll do it for you right now.
Yeah.
Serving others, give preference to other people.
Yeah.
If we do that, we'll have a different world, at least between now and the time he comes back.
Hey. I heard it from Chuck, man, himself. Service is the free food for your soul today. Appreciate you for coming through, man.
I appreciate it, bro.
Hey, it's free lunch. Peace.